Good morning, class. Welcome to Economics for All. Today we are going to discuss about senior intermediate classes. I am Swapna, lecturer in economics, Maristella College. In the last class we have discussed about the features of developed countries. Those are high per capita income, importance of non-agricultural sector, abundance of capital and technology, low level of unemployment and better quality of life. But today's class we are going to discuss about the features of developing countries which are exclusively different and which are opposite to advanced countries which we taught in the last class. What are the features of developed countries and what are the developing countries? So from this class onwards you are going to differentiates between developed and developing countries. According to Planning Commission of India, an underdeveloped economy is characterized by the existence in greater or lesser degree of unutilized or underutilized manpower on one hand and of unexploited natural resources on the other. What is the exact meaning of this? According to Planning Commission, underdeveloped economies is characterized with unutilized, underutilized manpower and also unexploited natural resources on the other hand. That means we are unable to trap the resources which are available in our country. On the basis of per capita income, United Nations has defined that the countries which have real per capita income less than a quarter part of per capita income of United States are coming under developing economies. That means the country which is having the real per capita income is less than the quarter part of USA's per capita income, and that kind of countries, all the countries come under developing countries. The developing countries have different characteristic features when compared to developed countries. What are those factors and what are the features of developing countries? Low per capita income, scarcity of capital, demographic characteristic features, unemployment is also a cause, predominance of agriculture, high incidence of poverty, income inequalities, low quality of life, technological backwardness, and high density of population. It is also a major problem faced by the developing countries, especially Indian economy. And also high density of population, real economy and price instability. So all these are the features and we have discussed some of the features opposite to developed countries like unemployment issues, population issues, high per capita income. Such type of points we have discussed in the previous class, that is features of developed countries. So Indian economy if you take, otherwise the developing economies if you take, low per capita income to price instability, there are 12 points, 12 major causes, major features explaining about developing countries. The first one we can discuss like this, low per capita income. This is the main feature of developing countries. Low and middle income countries which are known as developing countries. Like Indian economy is a best example for low per capita income. China also, which are considered as the fast growing economies and they are having less per capita income. The per capita GNI of India has increased $1070 in the year 2008 to $1530 in the year 2011, but it still remains as the category of middle income countries, that is growing economy. So per capita income is the basic feature of developing economies. Another important feature is scarcity of capital. The insufficient amount of capital is characteristic feature of developing countries. They are often called as capital poor because all these countries are facing the problem of shortage of capital. So because of this reason, these countries are called as capital poor economies. Next, the rate of capital formation, which is an important determinant of economic development, and that is very low in such type of countries, such as 1990s it was 27.9%. Per capita savings also it was 23%, and capital formation was 24%, and gross domestic product and it increased to 35.6%. That means whatever may be the reason, there is an insufficient amount of capital in developing countries. The other feature is demographic characteristics. The developing countries are facing the problem of heavy population. The recorded growth rate of population is around 2% per annum. Birth rate is still high. Death rate is reduced due to the medical facilities and advancement. But still in Indian economy and all the developing economies, there are the pressure of high population. India's population was 1,210 millions in the year 2011, and it increased to 1,278 millions in the year 2015, which was a 17.5% of world population. That means we are facing the problem of population pressure. And unemployment, especially in our country, there are different types of unemployment, and unemployment is widespread. And in these countries unemployment is open, and also the percentage of people those who are unemployed are high number. The slowing grow and also the slow growth rate in industrial sector fails to absorb the increasing labor force, because these countries are having abundant number of people, and these industries and growing sectors, all the sectors are able to absorb the growing population. In Indian economy, the unemployment rate is scarcity. It is unemployment rate is very much high because of scarcity of capital, and total unemployed in the year 11th plan, during the 11th plan also it was 83 million. So that means in our country and also all the developing countries facing the problem of unemployment, and all the economic sectors like industrial sector, service sector and agricultural sector cannot provide the job opportunities to the growing population. The predominance of agriculture. Most of the developing countries are basically depending on the agricultural sector. About 30% to 70% of the population depends on agriculture in these economies. And purely these countries are likely to be unprogressive according to Galbraith, an economist. The agricultural sector in these economies is labor intensive. That means all the workers we used to see in rural areas, they dress up nicely and they take the lunch bags and they go directly to the farms and fields. Most of the people in rural areas go and work in agricultural sector. So agricultural land is subdivided and fragmented. There is a heavy pressure of population on agricultural sector. Small size of the land holdings and low productivity of agriculture. Marketable surplus is also low. Uneconomical holdings are there. They can see in developing countries. So 54.6% the people engaged in agriculture in 2013 and 14. If you take, there are 54.6% of the people engaged in agriculture, and its contribution is 13%. Another feature is high incidence of poverty. We all know that our economy is facing a major three problems such as population pressure, unemployment, and the third one is high incidence of poverty. Most of the developing countries are facing these problems. Low level of income. It is because of income level is very low, and these countries, as the income is very low, the people are facing many problems. The first one is poverty. Because of that, malnutrition will takes place, ill health and health issues will takes place. It is because of illiteracy also. Inequalities all resulted in the widespread poverty. So poverty is the main root cause for all the problems, as their income is very low. They are facing various health issues, malnutrition problem, etc., including India. The number of people, those who are below the poverty line in India, is 29.8% as per 2009 and 10 data. That is 29.8%. Income inequalities and low quality of life is seen in most of the developing countries. There are different types of inequalities with regard to income level, and also these countries income inequalities are larger according to a report by the United Nations Development in the year 2011. The inequalities in earning in India have doubled. Inequalities are doubled from the past 2 decades, and the richest India's richest 100 had a combined net worth which was almost 17 percentage of its gross domestic product of rupees 71 lakhs 57,412 crores. Next thing is poor quality of life. We have already discussed about unemployment problem, poverty problem, so low income levels, etc. And people are suffering with various health issues and so the next important feature is low quality of life. In these countries, people are suffering and there are poor quality of life. They are unable to have a good quality of life, and these countries people are suffering from malnutrition, high levels of pollution, lack of sanitation, etc. So low quality of life is because of low income, unemployment problem, poverty, etc. Another important thing is technological backwardness. See, we all know that in the developed countries, the production techniques are backward due to lack of focus on research and development. See, we all know that developing countries are labor intensive countries, and in these countries labor are available in plenty and they use labor intensive techniques, especially in Indian economy. They are technologically backward and they are traditional. They use only the traditional techniques. So technological backwardness is observed in developing countries. High density of population. Here we have the density of population. What is the meaning of density of population? The number of people, those who are living in every square kilometer. The number of persons living per square kilometer is called a density of population. It is very high in developing countries due to the large size of population. It is because of only population. Density of population in India was 382 82 members per square kilometer as per 2011 data, whereas it was 145 members in China. In our country it is only 382. In China it was 145, and Canada 4, and 3 in Australia. Dual economy is the major problem. Dual economy in the sense our country is having the characteristic feature of dual economy. That means we have technological dualism, social dualism. That means we follow modern technology and also traditional technology. Modern sectors will be there, traditional agricultural sector will be there, and these techniques leads to low productivity because our country is characterized with the dual economy. And price instability, the most important thing for developing countries is price instability. There are low productivity. As there is low productivity in the country, rising inflation means there is a general price level, and that price level is increasing. Continuous rise in the general price level leads to inflation. So to maintain the standard of living of the common people, inflation is become a big problem. The above problems developing countries are also facing: inadequacy and insufficiency of technical education, unfavorable institutional setup, weak political leadership, etc. So price instability, for example, if you take tomato 100 rupees kg, dal 150 rupees, like that we are discussing, and no one will think of what are the reasons for rise in price level. There are many other causes for price instability. So price instability is also a basic feature of developing countries. So today's class we have discussed about about all the features of developing countries such as low per capita income, scarcity of capital, demographic characteristic features, unemployment, predominance of agriculture, high incidence of poverty, income inequalities, low quality of life, technological backwardness, high density of population, dual economy, price instability. These are the basic features of all the developing countries, and we can also discuss that Indian economy is a developing economy. With all the above explained 12 points, we can say that Indian economy is a developing economy. If you like my class, comment, share, give your messages and comments to my YouTube channel, and also subscribe my channel Economics for All. Thank you.